The world's 10 most dangerous mountain paths. One moment of carelessness could send you plummeting down a 1,000-foot cliff. Some paths even require you to sign a waiver acknowledging the risk of death before you're allowed to proceed. Many people choose mountain hiking to relax their minds and broaden their horizons. However, there are numerous mountain trails that will cause your adrenaline to surge, requiring constant vigilance just to stay alive. In this edition of Guidepedia, we'll embark on extreme challenge together, experiencing these thrilling mountain treks through our video. Get your heart ready for some pounding. Click subscribe, and let's set off. Huayna Picchu. Located in Peru, Huayna Picchu stands at an elevation of 8,835 feet. The climbing process has been described by countless people as a hiking path where you're treading on death with every step. This is because its climbing section, extending over 1,000 feet, consists of smooth, fragile stones beneath each step. At the beginning, Huayna Picchu resembles an ordinary mountain, primarily featuring natural terrain. However, as you progress to the latter half, the trail becomes increasingly narrow. You must walk on man-made stone pavements, ascending steeply about 1,000 feet. One step at a time, one careless move could send you plummeting down the cliff. With each step, your heartbeat accelerates. National Geographic magazine has rated the Huayna Picchu trek as one of 15 iconic adventure journeys. Although the climbing process is extremely dangerous, the mountain is scattered with several Inca ruins, including the mysterious and awe-inspiring Temple of the Moon, which seems like a reward for your efforts, treating you to a visual feast. After enduring tremendous hardship to reach the summit, you'll be greeted by a panoramic view of Machu Picchu, one of the new 7 wonders of the world and a lost city. In that moment, you'll feel that all the previous dangers were worthwhile. However, given the high danger level of this death trail, for safety reasons, Huayna Picchu limits entry to 400 people daily and requires an additional entrance fee. Friends who wish to take on this challenge should make reservations and preparations well in advance. Via Ferrata. Via Ferrata is the transliteration of the Italian term Via Ferrata, which translates to iron path. Here, it refers to a protected climbing route equipped with iron cables and footholds as aids. The terrain is steep, the heights dizzying, and the challenge substantial. Typically, only professional outdoor climbers attempt such challenges. However, the Via Ferrata trails in the Alps are protected paths with pre-installed cables and other auxiliary measures to help people secure themselves, making them accessible even to ordinary people. Despite the protection offered by the iron cables, the steep mountainside severely tests the climber's physical strength and endurance. This dangerous journey requires at least 8 hours to reach the summit. During this time, climbers must not only watch their footing, but also conserve their energy. The thousands of feet of elevation can cause vertigo with just one glance downward. If exhaustion causes you to lose your grip on your safety rope and you fall, even if you're extremely fortunate enough to survive, you'll still endure a beating from the rocks along the way. Even watching them climb through a screen, you can feel the tension and excitement. The Cascade Saddle. Located in New Zealand's Mount Aspiring National Park, the Cascade Saddle has attracted throngs of fans making pilgrimages due to its appearance in the popular film The Lord of the Rings. The nearly 11-mile path covered in ice and snow is utterly captivating. However, the Cascade Saddle is not as welcoming as many might imagine. Beneath the pristine winter wonderland lurk tremendous hazards. In recent years, more than a dozen people have perished here, with falls caused by loose rocks being the primary culprit. The fragile geology of the Cascade Saddle, combined with slippery conditions during rainfall and even the possibility of avalanches in winter, has resulted in frequent injuries and accidents. Many unfortunate souls have found their eternal rest in these snowy grounds. The local coroner once told the media that too many people have died on this trail, igniting widespread debate. Nevertheless, these perilous factors haven't diminished visitor numbers. On the contrary, countless adventurers still yearn to witness the breathtaking natural splendor of the Cascade Saddle with their own eyes. It seems the more enchanting the scenery, the greater the risk of losing one's life there. It all comes down to whether you're willing to stake everything on the experience. Angel's Landing. The Angel's Landing Trail, just 2.5 miles long, is located in Zion National Park in Utah. It's rated as one of the top 10 hiking trails in America. With an elevation of 1,490 feet. In 1926, the local government designed a hiking path that winds between massive rocks, allowing people to follow the route to the summit. From the top of Angel's Landing, visitors can enjoy the breathtaking views of Zion Canyon. This is a very well-known trail that's difficult to get lost on, which is why many people underestimate its danger level. Hikers often get injured during the final half mile of the journey because this section requires walking along a narrow spine of rock. Although there are iron handrails on one side, both sides feature sheer cliff faces, making the walk incredibly nerve-wracking. Though the entire trail is only 2.5 miles long, it feels much longer. The sandstone here is extremely soft, and the rock surface isn't necessarily level. Many sections require walking on sloping rock faces. If the rock surface is damp, your shoes lack sufficient grip, or your attention wanders even slightly, you can easily slide downward. Sliding isn't the main concern. The real issue is that the trail is narrow with extreme drops on both sides. People have fallen this way, plummeting to their doom. If it's windy at the summit on the day of your visit, it's best to come back another time to avoid being blown off the edge. You could compare it to Taiwan's Jilung Ridge in the northeast. Though dangerous, the magnificent scenery makes it worth visiting. Devil's Path. Devil's Path is considered the most treacherous hiking trail in the eastern United States. Located on the ridge of the Catskill Mountains in New York, it runs from east to west across the entire mountain range. Though it's only a 2-hour drive from Manhattan to the north, the area is sparsely populated. The Devil's Path stretches approximately 24 miles, with each peak rising higher than the last, surrounded by steep cliffs. It features 6 peaks exceeding 3,000 feet. At some cliff sections, hikers can only ascend by climbing with their hands. If you want to see the real devil, you must first cut through thorns and thistles to approach him. The nearly vertical mountain walls require powerful arm and leg strength to climb upward. Sometimes you even need to grab tree roots to pull yourself up. You'd better pray those roots are secure enough. Otherwise, you'll fall straight into the devil's trap. During this journey, you need to traverse several mountain peaks. Your heart must be strong enough to stand at the summit and overlook the magnificent scenery. On this route, slipping and falling are the main fatal causes. Some people have also been terrified by bears in the area. So it's best not to bring food just for yourself. Prepare some bribes for our bear cubs as well. El Caminito del Rey, the King's Pathway. This walking path located in Spain has been in existence for at least 100 years. It was originally built as a road leading to a hydroelectric power plant, but later became a hiking trail. The danger of the King's Pathway lies in its wooden walkway, suspended 300 feet above the ground, stretching 2 miles in length. It's mounted on rock faces. If you come to take on this challenge without doing proper research, you might feel somewhat relieved hearing it's less than a mile long. However, when you discover that the wooden walkway on both sides is only 3 feet wide, and notice the missing planks in some sections as shown in the pictures, will your legs tremble or will your eyes light up with excitement? But there's no need to worry too much. Before 2001, the path was closed for a period after 5 tourists fell into the gorge and lost their lives. It was subsequently reopened in 2015 with added guardrails, making it much safer than before. Now, within the safety range, experiencing the thrill of crossing planks while tied to ropes is still a starting point for testing the courage of beginners. Walking on the wooden walkway that occasionally creaks still makes one's heart race. If you're brave enough not to constantly stare at your feet, looking up will reveal that the King's Pathway offers quite distinctive scenery. Below, turquoise rivers flow through, and you can admire the magnificent canyon views, as well as trains passing through mountain tunnels in the gorge. Drakensberg Traverse. One of the world's most challenging trails, the Drakensberg Traverse is located in Royal Natal National Park, stretching over 40 miles. It winds and twists through high-altitude terrain where most peaks exceed 10,000 feet. The difficulty level at the very beginning already eliminates some adventurers, as travelers must climb up two nearly vertical ladders just to reach the starting point. The entire mountain path doesn't even have a clearly defined route, but experienced hikers have established 8 checkpoints. Completing all of them means you've conquered this mountain range. Before 1985, 55 people died on this route. Although no official count has been maintained since then, reports of injuries emerge every year. What makes this route so difficult and dangerous is the unstable geology, with frequent rockfalls increasing hiking risks. Additionally, encountering numerous fierce wild animals along the route adds another deadly element to the journey. Nevertheless, the scenery along this trail is exceptionally beautiful, offering all the magnificent mountain vistas one could hope for. This continues to attract many visitors despite the dangers. Mount Pinatubo. Before 1991, no one knew about Mount Pinatubo, let alone its eruption history. The major eruption in 1991 caused severe disasters, making it the second largest volcanic eruption on land in the 20th century, overshadowing Mount St. Helens, located at the intersection of Tarlac, Zambales, and Pampanga provinces on Luzon Island in the Philippines. It is a stratified active volcano primarily composed of andesite and dacite. Mount Pinatubo has had 8 eruption activities. Before the 1991 eruption, its height was 5,725 feet. After the eruption, the peak's height decreased by approximately 984 feet. Following the eruption, Mount Pinatubo formed a crater lake with a diameter of 1.5 miles. The lake water is emerald green and incredibly clear. Subsequently, Mount Pinatubo fell silent again. The volcano and its crater lake have become famous tourist attractions, highly recommended by backpackers. Although this trail offers beautiful scenery, the light blue volcanic lake with a slight yellow tint appears pristine, with water temperature neither cold nor hot, perfect for swimming and boating. It's hard to imagine that this dream lake, 1.5 miles in diameter, was a smoke-spewing, fire-belching volcanic crater 20 years ago. However, the volcano that could potentially erupt again makes every tourist somewhat nervous. Mount Hua Plank Walk. Mount Hua in China serves as a classic backdrop for martial arts novels and a subject for many landscape painters. Known as the most dangerous mountain under heaven, Mount Hua features boot-shaped cliffs, 1,000-foot drops, 100-foot clouds, the Blue Dragon Ridge, the Sparrow Flipping, and the Plank Walk, all of which inspire awe in visitors. The Hashang Stone Chamber at the summit of Mount Hua was the final destination for Taoist priests climbing the mountain in the past. To reach it, one must press tightly against the cliff face and slowly ascend on a wooden plank path less than 12 inches wide. This path is known as the Plank Walk and is recognized as one of the world's most treacherous mountain trails. Tens of thousands of tourists visit it each year. The current Plank Walk, after being widened and having handrails added to certain sections, appears relatively safer but remains extremely dangerous. The wooden planks are still narrow, just over a foot wide, allowing only one person to pass at a time, with only an iron chain to hold onto and a bottomless abyss below. Some sections require walking on rock ledges only as wide as a foot. It's no wonder visitors are required to wear safety harnesses before proceeding. One glance is enough to make your heart race with fear. Those who conquer this path are truly brave warriors. Peekaboo Slot Canyon. Are you afraid of small, confined spaces? Then this trail in the Utah desert will be your worst nightmare during your hiking journey. Peekaboo Canyon is a narrow gorge and one of the most popular hiking destinations in the Grand Staircase Escalante National Monument area. This trail looks as if someone cut a slit through the sand and rock bed. Visitors will encounter interconnected slot canyons and tunnels, various rock formations, and the arched silhouettes of stone openings against the blue sky. Viewed from the top of the canyon, the steep rocks plunge sharply downward, eventually becoming small cliffs. Inside, they form slot canyons. To reach the narrow exit of the canyon, you'll need to swim through a muddy lake. The entire route isn't long, but it requires certain rock climbing skills and a strong sense of direction. The danger of this trail lies in the possibility of getting stuck between rock crevices, unable to move forward or backward. So if you're not flexible or slim enough, don't attempt this challenge lightly, and never go alone. This is truly a place where no one will hear your cries for help. For those suffering from claustrophobia, it's like being in hell. After reviewing these 10 most dangerous mountain paths, which one would you like to conquer? Feel free to leave comments and interact in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, you can subscribe and like Guidepedia. Next time, we'll bring you more exciting content.